after concluding a call with Mr. Michael Johnson. I couldn't help but sport a satisfied grin. With finesse, I navigated the transfer of $8.5 million across 7 countries and 13 banks, ensuring Mr. Johnson's funds were cleansed of any suspicion and shielded from prying government eyes. My name, Freddie Smith. Renowned for my expertise in financial maneuvering, I've earned respect for my ability to move money discreetly, safeguarding clients from legal entanglements without delving into the origins of their wealth. I operate by a strict code. No questions asked, no complications with the authorities. This philosophy not only preserves my own safety, but also keeps my conscience clear. I'm well aware of my clients' less than legal endeavors, but adhering to the rule of silence ensures mutual trust. My endeavors have proven lucrative, thanks to my personalized strategies. With 25 bank accounts spanning 10 countries, 13 crypto wallets, and a company managing my assets, I live comfortably. A fixed salary of $65,000 from my company covers unforeseen expenses, while ensuring a modest profit keeps the operation above board in the eyes of tax authorities. This approach also shields me from potential legal troubles such as civil suits, lawsuits, or divorces, as my documented net worth and income remain minimal. Many of my clients recognize the value I bring and express gratitude through offers I must politely decline, ranging from women, drugs, and trips to protection and more. However, recent circumstances have led me to reconsider accepting assistance with surveillance, protection, and certain force-related matters. My business associates were eager to lend a hand, grateful for the solutions I've provided them. Meanwhile, my wife, Christine, sees me primarily as a financial advisor, an accurate description given my certification. Unaware of my earnings, assets, or offshore accounts, Christine is content with the company's provision for our mortgage payments, cars, and expenses. Her satisfaction stems from a lifestyle of leisure, free from financial concerns. In our 4 years of marriage, she's shown no inclination to delve into the details, simply enjoying our time together. This approach also shields me from potential legal troubles such as civil suits, lawsuits, or divorces, as my documented net worth and income remain minimal. Many of my clients recognize the value I bring and express gratitude through offers I must politely decline, ranging from women, drugs, and trips to protection and more. However, recent circumstances have led me to reconsider accepting assistance with surveillance, protection, and certain force-related matters. My business associates were eager to lend a hand, grateful for the solutions I've provided them. Meanwhile, my wife Christine sees me primarily as a financial advisor, an accurate description given my certification. Unaware of my earnings, assets, or offshore accounts, Christine is content with the company's provision for our mortgage payments, cars, and expenses. Her satisfaction stems from a lifestyle of leisure, free from financial concerns. In our 4 years of marriage, she's shown no inclination to delve into the details, simply enjoying our time together. Christine was a dynamo in the bedroom, where our passionate encounters lit up several nights each week. She possessed a fiery allure, knowing precisely how to ignite my desires and keep the flame burning bright. Our lovemaking was an exhilarating blend of fun, fantasy, and affection, painting a picture of paradise in our shared moments. Little did I know, a tempest of unforeseen magnitude lurked on the horizon. Our journey began with 1.5 years of courtship, culminating in marriage at the youthful age of 23. Now, 4 years later, Christine had just celebrated her 27th birthday. With her ample curves, captivating legs, and stunning physique, she embodied the epitome of a dreamy trophy spouse. Her blonde locks cascaded around her fullest features, while her piercing blue eyes held an enchanting allure capable of captivating any man's attention. Despite the constant admiration and advances from other men, Christine remained steadfastly loyal, proudly displaying her engagement ring, a dazzling 3-carat testament to our commitment. Prior to our marriage, I learned of her past romance with a man named Daniel Bram during their college years. Though deeply smitten with Daniel, their love story hit an impasse when he chose to enlist in the Marines instead of settling down. Fast forward 7.5 years, and Daniel's return to our city stirred dormant emotions within Christine. Despite his absence, she remained under his spell, unable to shake off the lingering tendrils of their past connection. As Daniel reconnected with old acquaintances upon his return from military service, it became apparent that Christine's affection for him, had endured the test of time. Following Daniel's acquisition of Christine's cell phone number through a mutual acquaintance, he began a barrage of texts and calls, reminiscent of their past connection. 5 weeks ago marked the onset of Christine's altered demeanor, likely stemming from guilt over her clandestine communication with Daniel. While the sudden surge in attention and indulgence in additional sexual adventures with me proved pleasurable, it deviated from Christine's usual demeanor of attentiveness and cheer. Her actions spoke volumes, hinting at an underlying shift. Sensing something amiss, I decided to closely monitor Christine over the weekend. A casual mention of Daniel by a friend at a barbecue prompted me to inquire about his return to town, aligning with the timeline of Christine's behavioral changes. Without delay, I reached out to one of my trusted business associates, apprising him of the situation and hinting at the possibility of needing assistance. Eager to reciprocate after the favors I've rendered him, he eagerly awaited the chance to assist me. Given my past endeavors on his behalf, including navigating legal hurdles with federal authorities, I provided him with all the pertinent names and details. True to form, my business contacts swiftly delivered a comprehensive dossier on Daniel Brown, shedding light on nearly every aspect of his life history and background. A comprehensive dossier landed in my possession, encompassing everything from Daniel's birth certificate to his college transcripts, family lineage, and military service records. It was as if I held a detailed map of his entire existence, surpassing even his own mother's knowledge. Alongside this trove of information, a daily log of his text messages flooded in, exceeding 10 messages a day, many directed at my wife. The source of this intel remained shrouded in mystery, with strict instructions not to inquire. Initially, the messages maintained a veneer of friendly reminiscence, typical of old acquaintances reconnecting. However, within the span of the first week, it devolved into overtly sexual overtures. While Christine initially rebuffed his advances, Daniel's persistent pursuit gradually wore down her defenses. Witnessing this unfolding drama, my ire swelled against this predatory interloper, knowing full well that Christine still harbored emotions for him, spelling trouble on the horizon. After enduring 5 weeks of his relentless flirting and texting, Daniel succeeded in persuading Christine to meet him for lunch. To my dismay, he brazenly requested she dress provocatively, citing his longing for her. Shockingly, Christine acquiesced, even musing about leaving her undergarments behind, reminiscent of their past encounters. Rage surged within me to levels I hadn't experienced in years, prompting me to seek counsel from my business associates. My associates provided me with some strategies to handle the situation. We concluded that a direct confrontation would be most effective, with me joining them in person during their lunch rendezvous, while ensuring nearby backup for protection if necessary. Armed with the time and location of their meeting, courtesy of my surveillance team, I entered the restaurant and located their secluded spot. My fury reignited upon seeing Christine clad in a revealing dress sans bras, seated intimately with Daniel. They had positioned themselves with their backs to the rest of the restaurant, nestled together in a private booth, exuding an air of comfort. As I approached, I noticed a man trailing me, likely one of my hired bodyguards. When I reached their table and greeted Christine, sliding into the booth opposite them, the atmosphere crackled with tension. The bulky figure who had been observing me now occupied a nearby table, wearing a congenial smile while casting glances at Christine. Seizing the moment, I prodded, "Aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?" The silence hung heavy, tension thickening as I locked eyes with Christine. While Daniel appeared puzzled, Christine's expression wavered between shock and guilt, revealing the gravity of the situation. They remained seated side by side, hands entwined on the table, after Christine realized the gravity of the situation. She attempted to extract her hand from Daniel's grasp, but he clung tightly, his smile morphing into a smug smirk that seemed to proclaim ownership. Daniel, the brash opportunist, wasn't about to back down. "This is Daniel Brown," Christina introduced in an awkward tone. "And this is my husband, Freddie." Christina looked visibly agitated, something I'd never observed before. In response, Daniel found amusement in the unfolding drama, maintaining silence while offering only smirks in my direction. Non-verbal taunts that spoke volumes. It was as though he relished the sense of power derived from the situation, daring me with his eyes to challenge him. Not wasting a moment, I addressed Christine, attempting to retain composure. "I hate to interrupt your dinner, but I need to speak with my wife alone for a few minutes," I requested, the urgency palpable in my voice. Reluctantly, Daniel released her hands and vacated the booth, allowing Christine to stand. She clutched her purse to her chest, positioning herself between Daniel and me, a portrait of fear and anxiety. Taking her hand, I guided her towards the back of the restaurant, aiming for privacy near the restrooms. Christine's silence spoke volumes, her demeanor laden with guilt and apprehension at being caught in this compromising scenario. I ushered her into the vacant men's restroom, my frustration boiling over as I confronted her. "Christine, you're breathless, and your attire is utterly inappropriate. You look like a woman of ill repute, and I can't fathom your disrespect towards me," I admonished, my words punctuated by her tearful silence. With trembling hands, I lifted the hem of her dress, horrified to confirm the absence of undergarments. The shock on her face only fueled my rage as I held the fabric aloft, forcing her to confront her reflection in the mirror, exposed and vulnerable. "Is this how you conduct yourself in my absence, Christine?" I demanded, my voice seething with anger. "What are you playing at? Are you intent on disgracing yourself?" Her protests fell on deaf ears as I rebuked her, my tone laced with disappointment and betrayal. In a desperate attempt to shield her nudity, she yanked her dress down, her denial ringing hollow in the stark reality of the moment. But I wasn't swayed by her feeble excuses. "I'll entertain your explanations, but know this," I asserted, my voice taking on a commanding edge she had never encountered. "If we're to salvage this marriage, you'll heed my commands without question. Failure to comply means you needn't bother returning home, for our union will be over." "Now listen carefully," I instructed, my tone firm and unwavering. "Retrieve your purse, exit this restroom, and proceed directly to your car without acknowledging your boyfriend. Maintain your composure, look straight ahead, and refrain from contacting him or anyone else until we've spoken. Drive home promptly, set the coffee brewing, and await my return. I will be more than 15 minutes behind." As she averted her gaze, I could sense her remorse for the predicament she found herself in. "And another thing," I continued, emphasizing the importance of my instructions. "When you arrive home, do not change out of that dress. I expect you to remain in the same attire until my return. Failure to comply with my wishes will result in consequences. If you cannot meet these expectations, then do not return home tonight. I will contact you later to discuss our next steps." Wife's story. Oh dear God, what have I done? When Daniel re-entered my life, a rush of relief washed over me knowing he was safe and no longer in the military. He was my first love, and despite years of distance and the fading of romantic feelings, his memory lingered in my thoughts. Though I found deep love and happiness with Freddie, who has been the anchor of my life since we met, the reappearance of Daniel stirred up emotions I thought long buried. Daniel possessed a charm that was impossible to resist, and his flirtatious banter and seductive messages rekindled old desires I thought I'd overcome. Despite my efforts to rebuff him, his persistence wore me down until I succumbed to the temptation of meeting him for lunch. The guilt gnawed at me, knowing I was betraying Freddie's trust and jeopardizing our relationship. I grappled with the weight of my actions, torn between confessing the truth to Freddie and keeping Daniel's return a secret. The burden of my deceit weighs heavily on my conscience, and I regret the pain and betrayal I've caused more than words can express. Daniel has a way of pulling me back into our past, making me feel like I belong with him. When he asked me to wear something sexy, I knew it was wrong. I shouldn't have even agreed to lunch, let alone wear that dress. But I couldn't resist. How could I suggest going without panties? Am I really that shallow and foolish? Yes. During our relationship, he always preferred me without them. When he invited me to lunch, it was like old memories flooded back, blurring my judgment. I almost declined out of guilt, but a text from Daniel expressing his eagerness to see me erased my doubts. It was difficult keeping it from Freddie, but I convinced myself that one dinner, for old time's sake, wouldn't hurt. Seeing him in the restaurant reignited desires I thought were long gone. Our chemistry was undeniable, and after 7 years in the Marines, he looked even more appealing. His physique was a testament to his military service, muscles sculpted to perfection that any woman would admire. Daniel had a way of stirring up emotions and persuading me to act against my better judgment. My cheeks flushed crimson as Daniel leaned in for a kiss, guiding me to a secluded booth. It felt like stepping back in time as laughter flowed effortlessly between us, as if he had never been absent. In his presence, happiness and excitement bubbled within me, his hand clasping mine on the table, providing a sense of security and warmth. We reveled in each other's company, lost in a world of shared memories and mirth. Suddenly, the atmosphere shattered as Freddie materialized before us, his expression twisted into a sadistic smirk that sent shivers down my spine. My heart lurched in my chest as the reality of the situation hit me like a freight train. The sight of Freddie, his eyes brimming with pain and fury, pierced through me like a dagger. Guilt washed over me in waves as I realized the gravity of my actions and the betrayal etched on Freddie's face. I longed to bridge the chasm between us, to embrace him and confess my love, to erase the anguish clouding his eyes. Never had I intended to inflict such pain upon the man who held my heart. Yet there he sat, gazing at me with a mixture of disgust and resentment, his once loving gaze tainted by the presence of another man, a reminder of my lapse in judgment and the rift it had created. I sat there in stunned silence, overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation. When Freddie somberly expressed his desire to talk, my heart plummeted, bracing myself for the inevitable end of our relationship. His unexpected gesture, pulling me into the men's restroom, left me apprehensive and uncertain of what was to come. The moment he lifted my dress, exposing my lack of undergarments, was a gut-wrenching blow, shattering any illusion of innocence or fidelity. In that instant, I felt like the epitome of the fallen and unfaithful wife, consumed by shame and remorse. Freddie's directive to return home and await his arrival echoed with a sense of urgency that left me trembling with fear. I knew I had to comply, to salvage our marriage and offer explanations for my actions, no matter how feeble they seemed. As Freddie spoke of confronting Daniel alone, a wave of apprehension washed over me. I feared for his safety, knowing Daniel's imposing stature and military background posed a potential threat. Despite my instinct to dissuade Freddie, confusion clouded my thoughts, leaving me unable to articulate my concerns. Attempting to apologize only met with Freddie's stern insistence that I depart and await his return, leaving me to grapple with my guilt and apprehension alone. As Freddie's instructions sank in, forbidding me from changing my clothes, a sinking realization washed over me. I was in deep trouble. How had I allowed Daniel to manipulate me into this situation? I had no desire for him in my life. I simply sought to reminisce and enjoy a moment of nostalgia. But from Freddie's perspective, I must have appeared poised to engage in something far more nefarious. What a mess. How could I repair the damage? Every eye felt like it was on me as I made my way through the restaurant to my car, avoiding Daniel's gaze with trepidation. The tears flowed freely during the agonizing drive home, each mile feeling like an eternity. The pain etched on Freddie's face haunted me, a constant reminder of the hurt I had inflicted upon him. I couldn't believe I had fallen prey to Daniel's manipulation. Now, I faced the daunting task of earning Freddie's forgiveness. Dan, I was in deep trouble, all because of Daniel and my own foolishness. As I arrived home and set the coffee brewing, uncertainty gnawed at me. What transpired during their conversation? How long before Freddie returned? Would he yell at me? Could our marriage be salvaged? The uncertainty was unbearable. I couldn't bear the thought of living without Freddie. He needed to understand that he was the only one I loved and desired in my life. Saving our marriage became my sole focus, a desperate plea echoing in my heart. Husband's story. I returned to the table and engaged in conversation with Daniel. It seems Christine won't be returning, and I thought it best to have a chat with you. It's evident that Christine still harbors feelings for you and is susceptible to manipulation, as today's events and the past few weeks have shown. However, it's imperative that you grasp she's married to me, and I'm not one to share. I'm not possessive or reckless, but I'll offer Christine a choice today. Remain in our marriage or depart for you, but not both. She'll make this decision independently, free from your influence. Let the best man prevail. If she chooses you, then so be it. But if she opts to stay, she'll sever contact with you. If you don't hear from her today, I expect you to refrain from reaching out again. Do you comprehend what I'm saying? Look, pal, I'll contact her whenever I see fit. She's an adult capable of making her own decisions. She doesn't belong to you. One thing's certain, she'll be with me. Once again, he couldn't resist taunting me, flaunting our past encounters with that same smirk plastered on his face. Oh, Daniel, I hoped you had some modicum of reason left in you. I mean, you're a handsome and imposing figure, undoubtedly alluring to many single women out there. Why couldn't you just leave married women be? You may think you hold some sway over Christine with your charm and lingering affection, but you underestimate me, Daniel. You see, you have no idea about my line of work or the company I keep. And that, my friend, is your first misstep. I know everything about you, your family, your habits, your connections. How are your parents, Matthew and Francis? Still doting on their 2 dogs, I presume. It's been over 3 years since you last visited your sister Lauren in San Antonio. Her daughters are growing up, eager to see their uncle Daniel. And what about your best friend Julie? Her girlfriend's expecting a boy, though I doubt she's shared the news with him yet. I've perused all your text exchanges with Christine, and I must say, your persistence is remarkable. Listen, you might be a big, imposing guy. The people I associate with in my line of work are formidable and owe me a lot. Now, I smacked at him. You claim she can't resist you, but tonight will prove who's the better man. Does she desire a macho like you, or will she remain faithful to our 4-year marriage? Let's be objective, Daniel. I'll give her a choice, straightforward and clear. She can opt to be with you and leave me and our marriage behind. If that's her decision, I'll respect it and wish you both well. I won't share a woman who desires another man. It would be too painful. I'd rather let her go now and move forward. On the other hand, if she chooses to remain faithful, there will be changes. After today's events with you, my trust has been shattered, and it needs to be rebuilt. If she stays with me, you must vanish from her life. No more texts, emails, phone calls, or contact through mutual friends. If you spot her in a restaurant, you'll leave immediately. If you're at a party or club and she's there, you'll exit discreetly. There will be no clandestine actions or attempts to reach her, as the consequences will be severe. Do you comprehend the gravity of my words? Do you understand how serious this is? Daniel sat there, his expression stunned and uncertain, unsure of what to make of it all. How in the world did you possess so much information about my family and my life? As I mentioned, I have influential friends who owe me favors, and they're not individuals you want to cross paths with. I may appear unassuming, but there's more to me than meets the eye. Are you genuinely considering offering her the opportunity to leave you for me? I am a man of my word. Yes, if she were any other woman who treated me with the disrespect she showed you today, I would have swiftly ended things. But I love this woman, and I'm willing to give her one chance, and one chance only. If you're correct, and she can't resist you, she'll reach out to you by midnight tonight and be yours. The alternative is for her to forsake you, honor her wedding vows, and remain my faithful wife. If she chooses to stay with me, you'll become an entity to her, and you'll cease to meddle in our marriage. Freddie, I trust you'll uphold your promise to allow us to live in peace, because I believe she'll opt to be with me. That's what she told me, and I know how much she wants me, Daniel asserted, attempting to exude confidence and authority. Though the man seemed self-assured, I couldn't help but question the validity of his claims. I'd soon find out the truth. Rising from my seat, I remarked, I hope to never hear your name again or find myself in situations I'd rather avoid, but time will tell. As I made my exit, a figure lurking in the shadows rose, casting a long menacing glare at Daniel before departing moments after me. Shortly afterward, Daniel received a message indicating I had a bodyguard and that he may have underestimated my true nature as a meek husband. Driving home, I pondered whether the woman I cherished would ever lie beside me again. Would she choose him over me? Or would she honor her vows and remain faithful? As I stepped into the house, a heavy silence enveloped the room. Christine sat at the kitchen table, visibly tense, tears staining her cheeks as she nervously sipped her coffee. Pouring myself a cup, I took a seat opposite her. Christine, I began, cutting off any attempt she might make to speak. I know everything, including the content of your text messages to Daniel. Before you ask how I found out, just understand that I have influential connections through my business dealings, connections you'd rather not cross paths with. I paused, taking a moment to collect my thoughts before continuing. I understand you're sorry, but your words hold no weight for me right now. You've betrayed my trust and love in a way I never imagined you capable of by putting him before me today. Your actions have shown a blatant disrespect for our marriage and for me as your husband. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what I needed to say next. You see, many people define infidelity solely in terms of physical intimacy, but in my eyes, the mere thought of being with another man is a betrayal. Kisses and caresses transcend mere deception. They are utterly unacceptable in the sanctity of our marriage. The conversations you engaged in with Daniel, the provocative attire you wore without a bra, bearing yourself, and your suggestion to go without panties, each of these actions, viewed separately and especially when considered together, constitutes betrayal. You directed your love and attention toward a man outside of our marriage. Yes, there may not have been physical intimacy, and that's the sole reason we're having this conversation. You must understand, I will never share you with anyone. I refuse to tolerate infidelity. I'm aware of the closeness you once shared with Daniel, and I acknowledge that you may still harbor feelings for him. Nevertheless, you are married to me. I won't allow you to be shared with him or anyone else. The reason I haven't made any hasty decisions is because I love you deeply and will do whatever it takes to keep us together. However, before we proceed, there's a question that needs to be addressed, and I need you to be honest. While you were with him, without wearing panties, did he touch you? Has anyone else in our marriage or otherwise ever touched you in that manner? No, I swear, nobody has ever touched me like that. Only you, she responded, tears streaming down her face. But today, you were willing to let him. I interjected, my disappointment palpable. Her head bowed, she sobbed once more. I don't know. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I'm so sorry for my foolishness, Freddie. Well, if he had laid a hand on you, we wouldn't be having this conversation, I asserted, a mixture of relief and frustration evident in my tone. Aside from a few handshakes and messages, nothing happened to end our marriage, though I'm deeply disappointed by your actions. Why did you choose to wear such a revealing dress? Tell me the truth. Were you trying to seduce him, to end up in bed with him? Oh God, no, I would never do that, she protested, her voice laden with remorse. It's hard to explain, but I just wanted to feel attractive for him, to revisit some old feelings. I know it was foolish and selfish, but he has a way of influencing me. I never intended for anything more to happen. I want to believe you, Christine, I truly do, I responded, my voice softening slightly. But your actions today raise serious doubts. There's a question I need an answer to. I reiterated my stance. I'll never share you with another man, nor will I stay married to a woman in love with someone else. You have a choice to make, and it's crucial that you consider it carefully. Once you've made your decision, there's no turning back. I know you care for me, and I acknowledge your past feelings for Daniel. That's why I'm giving you this choice. You must choose between Daniel and our marriage. If you opt for him, I'll let you go with fairness in the divorce process. I won't seek retaliation, and you both can move on safely. Alternatively, if you choose to remain in our marriage, you must commit to fidelity and honor our vows. It's a simple choice with far-reaching consequences. If you choose Daniel, I'll expect you to gather your belongings and leave by the weekend, and I'll initiate divorce proceedings promptly. If you decide to stay married, you'll have no further involvement with Daniel. Not today, not ever. He'll be dead to you. I reiterated the same terms I had laid out for Daniel. Never to be in the same place at the same time, and consequences if that were to occur. Christine agreed to these conditions without hesitation. So Christine, today, you're given a get-out-of-jail card, I stated. This opportunity is rare. You must choose between your ex-lover and your loving husband. I'm going to take a shower, I continued. When I return, I expect your decision. Choose wisely. As I was about to leave the kitchen, Christine hastily exclaimed, Of course I choose you, honey. I love you and want no one else. Christine, you betrayed me, I responded sternly. While I appreciate what you've just said, I need you to sit and contemplate your decision carefully. Rebuilding the trust we once had won't be easy, especially considering the pain and anger you've caused. Take your time. Give me your answer when I return. Given her actions today and her lingering feelings for Daniel, I needed assurance. This decision is too significant for you to make lightly, I told her gently, leaving her to cry with her head in her hands. I took my time, showering and getting dressed. When I returned to the kitchen, she rushed up to me, hugged me tightly, and kissed me. Freddie, I will never leave you, and I will never do anything like that again. I promise I will make it up to you and be the perfect wife. I want to be your wife and have your children. Please don't leave me. You are the only man in my life. I love you, she said, holding me close and kissing me with more intensity than ever before. We embraced and kissed for several minutes before I carried her to our bed, and we reconnected intimately. My anger had driven me, and she willingly surrendered to me. I love you, Freddie. Please take me, she whispered, pulling me closer. We made love passionately, reaching heights of ecstasy together. And then we held each other in silence for an hour as the world faded away around us. In that moment, we were simply husband and wife again. The next day, Daniel cursed under his breath. She didn't call me. I guess she decided to stay with this idiot. I can't believe it. The way we connected, the way she acted, I thought she'd want to be with me. I know if I had gotten her into bed that day, she would have left Freddie in a heartbeat. I'll find a way to make it happen, he thought, frustrated by the turn of events. Who is this guy? How does he know so much about me and my family? Well, I'm not giving up yet. I think I can win her back. Sorry, Freddie. A few days later, Daniel made the mistake of texting Christine, trying to persuade her to leave Freddie and be with him. To his dismay, Christine showed me the text and didn't respond to it. I reassured her that I had already seen his message and was glad she didn't engage with him. By showing me the text, Christine took a wise step toward rebuilding our trust. The following day, I messaged Daniel, inquiring about his parents' search for Casey and Mickey. Daniel promptly called his parents, learning of their distress upon discovering the dogs were missing. He realized he had caused them pain by involving himself with Christine, despite my earlier warning. To emphasize the seriousness of the situation, I arranged for the dogs to be kept away for a few days under careful supervision. When Daniel called back after speaking with his parents, he was furious. What have you done? They better be alive, or I'll kill you, you bastard. You won't be killing anyone, Daniel. If anyone is in danger, it's you, I warned sternly. I told you not to meddle with Christine, and now you'll experience pain like never before. Consider this a warning. Never contact her again. Do you understand? Yes, Daniel replied anxiously. But they must come back unharmed. That depends on your future actions, I retorted. Your threatening tone doesn't inspire mercy. I haven't decided whether they'll return unscathed or not. Your attitude doesn't help your case. Do you understand now? I wonder if Mom and Dad should be informed about why their beloved pets disappeared. Perhaps I should give them a call. What do you think about that, Daniel? Okay, I'm sorry. Please return them, and I'll keep my distance. I promise it's for the best. But remember, next time, it won't be the dogs who vanish. Do you catch my drift? I understand. I promise to stay out of her life, and you won't hear from me again. So when can we expect them back? They'll be home soon. Daniel, you know I'm miles away, unable to control everything. The people I'm connected with have their own thoughts, but I'll speak to them and see what can be done. I truly hope we won't need to converse again, because next time the stakes will be much higher. The following night, Daniel's relieved parents welcomed their cherished pets back with tears of joy as they barked on their porch. They had no knowledge of what had transpired or that their son was involved. Daniel, upon hearing the news of the dog's return, expressed gratitude. He even sent me a brief message simply saying, "Thank you." Finally realizing the severity of the situation, he chose to steer clear of Christine and secured employment in another city. Living hours away, Daniel attempted to dig deeper into Freddie's background, but was met with only public information indicating Freddie's occupation as a financial advisor. Recognizing the limited accessibility to Freddie's details, Daniel concluded it was time to turn the page and embark on a fresh start, leaving behind his past involvement with Christine. However, I remained vigilant, knowing Daniel's potential to resurface in her life. 3 weeks post the incident, I presented Christine with a postnuptial agreement meticulously crafted by my legal counsel. She willingly consented to relinquishing all rights, including those concerning any children born during our marriage in the event of infidelity. While it couldn't entirely prevent a recurrence of her previous liaison with Daniel, it served as a stark reminder of the consequences. Coupled with my increased attention and the postnuptial agreement, we stood firm against any forthcoming challenges. Approximately 6 months later, Christine discovered she was pregnant with our first child, drawing us even closer together. Recognizing the perils she narrowly averted, Christine dedicated herself to ensuring my happiness and fortifying our familial bond. The spectre of Daniel gradually faded from our conversations, as though he had never existed. His intrusion had posed a threat that could have shattered everything irreparably. But through my steadfast love and assertion of authority, our marriage endured. Friends, share your opinion about this story. Have a nice vacation. Check out my other videos.